It's the sum of all your values divided by how many values you have. Just like you did here. Look.
I'm gonna ask
I think it's on the other page. Maybe
magical.
You a whole bunch of averages. See how you average, you sum them all together, divided by how many there are? That's what you need to do again, just with Aaliyah, I think is the next one. Okay? Yes, David.
I got a question. So for Jack's, his symmetrical was a bit different by a little bit.
That's why I'm saying that you need to find the average for Aaliyah to see if it is 50.
So we just do the same.
It's averaging, right?
Okay. I thought it was just going to be first.
But here's the thing I gotta ask. Did you talk with the rest of your group before I came over? Talk with each other and check. Because an IR literally already has that formula written out and has everything put into the formula. Talk with each other first.
Wait, is the value basically like what the most common number on it? Because essentially that's what it is.
A mean is a measure of center, but it's not the most common number. How do you calculate a mean? The sum of all your values divided by n. That's in the beginning of this lesson. Okay? Have you found your mean yet? You haven't put this in the paper yet. If you're going to do those values minus the mean, let's find our mean. Come on. We just saw numbers. Yeah, all those numbers. Give me a better calculator. I would write them out first to make sure we don't make mistakes. Have you even started or talked to any of your analysts? Just saying, can you help me? Like they're working on stuff. Have you started looking?
Oh.
But have you started
Every number.
Add them all. Divide them. What step?
You're not even on the right page.
I just divided you by 10, but 15.
You're
I
still
got 50, so where do I
on this lesson, but you're looking at number 4. And so I will say this, ladies, to try to help them out. What did y'all do first? So you see all these numbers here, Ezra? You got to find the average, and make sure you know how to find an average. Do you remember how to find an average? How? The average is equal to the sum of all your values divided by how many values there are. Okay? So what is the average 50 again? Did you check that out?
Yes. I don't remember that. But the 50s, the
Make sure each other get the same answers. Oh, did y'all do the sum of your deviation? 0 again? Okay, maybe check it. Good, check it. You go with it? Okay.
So basically just add all these numbers. So I added them all.
No, I started.
Is that how you average the numbers? Okay. So your average is 50 again? You need to be careful. Where did you get negative 31 from? 20 minus 50 is not negative 31. Check that again.
Oh, wait, no. Okay,
No, sir. The mean is 50, not x so I minus c. And this is why you probably want to show your work. I would write out this formula, and I would show how you added all those numbers together, and then get the final answer of 50. Write that off to the side. Jamie, were you asking how someone was getting numbers so quick? This takes time. Yeah.
Once you get used to it,
It goes by quicker. Right. Practice makes perfect.
unless you don't use it.
Now I'm understanding it. Now I'm understanding it.
Good. What's she doing, bud? Hey Joey,
Oh, yeah.
how well are you gonna learn with your head down like that? Joey,
Oh my gosh.
I can't help you if you don't pick your head up.
I see that.
Cool. All right, good talk.
What's the pattern?
Okay, so it starts at negative 30, it goes to negative 1, and then it starts to 1. It goes to
Have you practiced standard deviation yet?
you'll see it.
Yeah,
Could we just add the
I'm on the second row.
Could we just add the pattern? So could we just add the breakdown and then multiply by 2?
So what do you
If they're exactly the same.
Yeah, it is.
You do it in parentheses, like,
Yeah, and then square.
yeah, square root, or really expression.
What's going on?
Joey, that is never gonna help you step outside. Joey, no sir. We're not doing that in my classroom. You can step outside if you need to. We're not paying our attendance.
Okay, so that one.
Joey, I literally tried to talk to you just a second ago to help you understand this, and you ignored me. Step outside. Well, not talking to me is not gonna help you figure out how to do it.
Okay, now
We'll have more practice with it before I test you.
I knew it.
That's exactly right. He said, weirdly enough, a cold-blooded animal hates the cold because it'll make their body shut down. But good try.
I totally forgot.
Oh, crap. They like the cold.
How are you gonna square the other line? The bottom line.
Oh wow, that's like,
So you know how we added all those together?
that pattern makes me.
I got 1,000, so that's basically press control. And then put 1,000. Yeah, the only problem I do with that.
Thank you. Thank you. No, we got 20 minutes left. We gotta learn, Jaden. You gotta go before class. All right. So, hopefully we found all these sums. What was the average once again? 50. Okay. So the first difference, check with me. Negative. That doesn't work. Really? Man, that's the second time in this class. Y'all are bad juju. All right, negative 30. You heard me. Negative 8, negative 5, negative 3, negative 1, 1, 3, 8, and 30. Very good. We're starting to notice patterns. I like to hear it. 64, 25, 9, 1, 1, 9, 25, 64, and 900.
How'd you do that?
The sum for that first column, once again, what did you say,
He
Jamie?
said, how'd you do that math so quick?
I've done a lot of math in my life. 1, 2, I know 8 squared is 64, 5 squared is 25, right? 3 squared is 9, 1 squared is 1. And I know when I square a negative, it's automatically going to make it positive, right? Okay, so what's the sum of this first column? 0. Now I need you to be careful because I saw some of us who went ahead and got the standard deviation and didn't do the sum. What's the sum here? 1998? Is that true? Okay, so what we want to recognize, that is the sum of x of I minus x bar squared. That is the sum of all those deviations squared. Apparently. No, why do you do this to my calculators? I'm ready for you to get that cast off so that you no longer drop my stuff all the time. Alright. So, once again, if I want to calculate the standard deviation,
I am going to.
it must be an Android because I checked all the iPhones. Androids don't have that sound?
My phone's always on silent, I swear.
Is that your ringtone?
Alright, guys, I'm not going back over
That is
there.
my ringtone.
Ignore it. and let's focus on learning. Okay, so S equals, what's the formula? Square root.
1,198.
I'm going to write out my formula first. Divided by n minus 1. So S is equal to, someone already said it, this value right here?
Square root.
No, what's the sum?
Exponent.
This whole thing, the sum of the squares.
1,998.
Right? 1998, we already did that sum. Divided by,
9. Now we get that.
Oh, yeah.
right here, buddy.
Dude, add it all up.
Okay, Joey, I'll answer your question separately in a second. I could have answered this earlier, but you weren't trying. Just hold on.
I was trying. I'm trying to figure out what to do.
Joey, when I came by and I asked you explicitly if I could help you, you ignored me.
No, we're supposed to.
Okay. N, what is N again? The number of values, which is 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. Hey, stop. We're not worried about those sounds over there. We're worried about the learning on this board right here. So, S is equal to the square root of 1998 divided by 9. Again, we're going to use a calculator. So what is that standard deviation?
14.89.
14.90 once you round it. So I want to point this out to you.
Makes a lot of sense.
What was the previous standard deviation?
For Jack?
Like 18 something?
It was 18.07.
Okay. So Jack typically differed from that mean of score of 50 by 18 words. This student only typically deviates or differs from the mean by 15 or 14.9 words. Who would you want on your team?
Jack.
Really? I want less variability. I want someone who's going to be consistent.
I just like the name.
Because remember, that means Jack could do, hey, listen, stop and listen. Jack could do way better, but that means he could also do way worse. I want someone who's going to be consistent on my team. Personally, they have the same average, don't they? But one has a lower standard deviation. That's what I'm going with. All right. I know we probably need one more practice with this. Is that a fair assessment? Okay. So continue with the one for Timar. Timar is one that I passed out earlier today. I literally put it all on the different desk I thought. Yeah, after that, I thought I'd pass this out as well. I didn't give you all this? Check. Because Ezra has a stack of papers right here.
Oh my goodness. 50 all.
So you're on the other side, actually. All right, let's work with each other. Let's finish this table. To save you time, I'll go ahead and tell you. Actually, take the time to do the average. Just check. I'm pretty sure it's 50, but I don't know for sure. Check the average. Now, hey, I didn't mean to mention this earlier. Pause and listen. I saw one student do exactly what I want you to do, or at least a couple, every time when you're doing the average. First, write out the formula. What's the formula? X bar equals sigma, the sum of
xi
remember that x sub I is the sum of all the values.
minus the mean.
Guys, look, pause. This isn't standard deviation. That's the standard deviation formula. This is the formula for the
Over n.
divided by n. The average or the mean, hey, eyes up here, and focus on this because I'm literally telling you exactly what I would expect on an understanding check. The average is the sum of all the values divided by n. So then show the work. Take the extra few seconds to write this all the way out and divide it by 10 before you put it in the calculator. Because here's the thing, and you've already seen it. Paul has stopped writing and listen. You've already seen it on the rubric. What do I expect you to do for every single answer you come up with?
Write out how you got the answer.
See, you don't have to write out every time. You have to, I heard someone say it over here. Justify. Could this be part of your justification? Yes. Should this be a part of your justification? Yes. This is showing me clear evidence that you understand what it means to average numbers. You might want to write some stuff, but if I ask you to average numbers, this would be all you would need to show me that you know how to average those numbers together. That's it. Justify your responses. Let's get to work. Let's figure out the average for Tymar's words, and let's figure out his standard deviation. Okay. Are you ready to talk with me? Okay. So look. Remember, S is equal to, this is a massive formula. I get that. But if you can break it down to the pieces, it becomes much easier. That's the formula we're using for standard deviation. Remember, a standard deviation, we already talked about it, that is a typical amount. Typical amount, data, hey, Marlon, you're in that group. Stay with that group. Typical amount, data deviates from the mean. Okay? You see that x minus x bar? That's taking each of these values and subtracting the mean from it. This right here is telling you how far each of these numbers deviates from the mean. Okay? We talked about the fact that you were supposed to calculate the mean at the beginning. How are you going to calculate the mean? The mean is equal to the sum of all those values divided by n. That's it. If you sum all those numbers together, 20 plus 42 plus 45 plus 47, yada, 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 you get 500 divided by 10. The mean was 50. We talked about the fact that you should have done that. You could have talked about that with your group because all of them did it. So notice, what's 20 minus 50? What's 42 minus 50? That's it. So you're finding out how far those numbers are from the mean. So calculate your mean.
I'm slow.
But remember, the issue is that the sum is 0.
Or I just wait.
So we got to square each of those numbers. That's what this is telling you. Square each of those numbers and then add them together.
Actually,
Right?
10 to 6 is better
And
now.
remember how it's a typical amount? You can also say it's an average amount the data deviates. That's why we're dividing by n minus 1 to get an average, or a typical amount the data deviates.
As I did the other
But remember how we squared it? That's why at the end we have to take a square root of all that. But you mostly need to focus on this. This is the most important part. But it's a typical amount the data deviates from the mean. So we sum it all up, we divide by n minus 1, and then we have to take a square root to undo the square. Okay? But you have to find the mean. So take all these numbers, right? Take all those numbers, add them up, divide by the sample size. Okay? Once you find your mean, then you can start to do all of this. And everything's easy from there. Okay? Let's get to work. Say again. Can you not? You haven't finished standard deviation yet. Right?
And no, someone sent me a note. He didn't even send it. He gave it to me. He didn't even give me no notes. He didn't even give me no notes. I politely wrote the note on the paper and I sent it back to his friend. This kid friend told me about this. No. He in 10th grade now. That's 0, by the way.
I got
Sounds good. Yes, was really nice. That's fine. So, we'd probably round that to 33.97. Right, because I said 2 decimal points, didn't I? Not another pattern. What? More patterns. It's crazy. Crazy. Time to learn. Yeah. Say again.
Hey, assistants.
Hold on 1 second. Any help? Well, what's in? It's the number of values, right? So there was no, the number of them. How many values were there?
Mister, can you move over here?
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Hopefully we're getting the practice in that we need. I didn't know these off the top of my head. What's 45 squared?
2025.
2025, that sounds right. So this one's 2025. Negative 38 squared? 1,444? And then, so what was the sum of all those things? 10,388? Is that what you guys said? 10,000?
Yes.
Okay? So remember, that is the sum of x sub I minus x bar squared. That's the sum of all those deviations squared. So S is equal to the square root of the sum of x sub I minus x bar squared divided by n minus 1. So the sum is 10,388
Divided by 9.
divided by 9. Remember, again, there were 10 samples, so 10 minus 1 is 9. Yes, Jamie?
I'm going to say the answer.
Oh, and so once I take the square root, S is equal to?
1,154.22.
Did you say the square root yet?
Oh no!
Yeah, I thought it was smaller than that.
Yeah, it's smaller than that. I wrote down the wrong thing.
33 point what?
38.
97
38.
words. So I want to point this out again. That's a really high standard deviation, right? So who is this? Timar has a shot at getting a whole lot of words right, don't they? But that also means they have a shot of getting a whole lot wrong. Because, yeah, my option, I'm going with Aaliyah. Right? There's not they won't get as many right, possibly, but they all have the same average. They all have 50. And I want someone who's going to be consistent on my team. Now, we'll say this. Could you argue and say, well, I want Timar because they have a shot at getting way more words right? It's possible, right? So here, hey, listen, guys, listen. This is one of the things I want y'all to understand out of this. It depends on how you argue it. I personally would want Aaliyah because Aaliyah is going to be the most consistent. However, you could easily point out if Timar has this standard deviation, Timar has a shot at getting, what's 50 plus that? 83, 84 words? Did Aaliyah ever get 84 words?
No.
No, and that's a typical amount that Timar differs from the mean by. Timar has a shot at getting 120 words. I would never get 120 words right with Aaliyah. So is there an argument for why you might want Aaliyah? Yes. It depends on how you argue it and how you define it. That's why it's going to be your decision and how you explain it. What you will have to do, Ethan, is listen when I speak and teach, and you will also have to list, or you'll have to know how to interpret the standard deviation. So what you will definitely have to be able to do for me is tell me, hey, what is this word, what does this mean? Well, time R score, typically what? Typically deviates from the mean by? Right. You will have to be able to tell me that. You will have to be able to look at a standard deviation and at the context and tell me, hey, time R score typically deviates from the mean of 50 words by 33.97 words. You have to be able to interpret. Because that number means something.
So what's our homework?
I don't think I assigned any tonight. Let's find out.
I know you see on video how someone says homework. You don't have like a class, right?
Oh yeah. So I forgot to change it from over the weekend. We don't have any homework, but that's because tomorrow we are probably going to be doing the iReady testing. Tomorrow I will tell you what your homework assignment is after that. Okay? So, Jake, you must be outside your mind. I need y'all to pause for 1 second though. Hey, pause for one. No, not literally, Joey. Stop being silly. Okay. Hey, I will hold you after the bell if you can't stop packing. Then tell your classmates to stop being ridiculous. Alright. Excuse me. Stop. 5. What was the next word for time, or number for time R? 10? 40?
45,
45?
55, 60, 88, 90, 95.
Alright, so I want to show you this. This is a feature in the calculator where I have all this in a list. I'm going to go to menu just like before. You know how we're studying statistics? Yeah. See this button, stat calculations? I'm going to do one variable statistics. Wait a second and watch this. Hey, what is that number right there? That's the mean. What's this? S? What is S? Anyone recognize that number?
No.
That's not the standard deviation we just calculated? Oh yeah. There's your sample size. Hey, there's your minimum, the first quartile, the median, the third quartile, and the maximum. Man, that's my 5-number summary already given to me. I'm going to teach you how to do this tomorrow, or I'm going to teach you how to do this on Wednesday. I will make a decision tonight if we'll have an understanding check on Wednesday or if it's on Thursday, okay? Say the way you talk to the people in your group. Try to say what you do. That's better.
Bob is putting back the
Shut up. I actually already had you. Oh my God.
Yeah.
School.
It's game day. Because I looked at the
Strawberries, game day.
language. Huh?
Me, I was signing.
Yeah.
I know his whole name.
I mean, that's cool and all. Just tell them to be better. All right, Joey, let me put these active collaboration scores in, and then we can start on tutoring, okay?
I think secretly they're trying to get you demonetized on YouTube.
Hey, can you actually go click, actually, never mind, I know where it is. Can you pick up all the calculators and pick these up and put them all together?
I'll see if I can do it.